Hello class. Now in this lecture we will see another device that is called as a secondary air induction system, which is used to control a emission level of CO and unburned hydrocarbon. So basically this system are come into two kind. One is the mechanical one and second is the electronic one. In case of the mechanic device, we are not using a closed loop control, so that system are work continuously. In case of the electronic, we are having a closed loop control, so for that purpose we can make that system on and off with the requirement. Okay, so in case of the electronic system we require a electronic part, but in case of the mechanical secondary air induction system, we are supposed to have a diaphragm, and that diaphragm get operated with the help of the vacuum pulsation occur inside the inlet manifold. Okay, so which is normally fitted all the BS4 vehicle of Yamaha. It is present in first, it present in R15. Okay, it is all the two-wheeler present in BS4 two-wheeler present of Yamaha. So now this in case of the electronic system, we are using a air pump. Okay, electronic air pump. But in case of the mechanical, there is a diaphragm is used, which is act as a pump for it. Okay, so here the electronic pump is used. Okay, so you can notice here the air is coming from air filter, and it divided into two way. So this is a secondary way and this is a primary way, which is guided to inlet wall. So this is a primary way. Through this primary way we are offering air to fuel to have a combustion, but whenever offered air quantity is not sufficient to have a complete combustion of fuel quantity, there is a chances of generation of CO and unburned hydrocarbon. This is the first reason. And the second reason, if the time is not sufficient to complete a combustion, that time CO and unburned hydrocarbon will be occur into the combustion product. So to reduce or to prevent that CO and unburned hydrocarbon entering to the atmosphere, we are using a secondary induction system. So this, through secondary way, we are injecting or we are introducing secondary air into hot exhaust stream just after the exhaust port. So at this location temperature is too high, so all the oxygen which is introduced by secondary way may have or may responsible to create a secondary oxidation after or we can say a secondary oxidation reaction outside of combustion chamber. So here all the oxidation take place at the exhaust manifold or at the exhaust port, near to exhaust port. So whatever the heat will develop over here, or the power get extracted here, is not useful to push piston downward. So it is a none of use to in terms of the power development, but it is useful to control the emission. So it is a secondary oxidation take place at the port area. So here you can also notice there is a lambda sensors are present upstream and downstream. In addition to that, catalysts are there. So in case of the electronic control secondary air induction system, we have an electric switch which make this valve on and off. Whenever this valve is on, that time air get injected into the hot stream, but whenever this valve get off, that time everything, all the air is coming from the secondary way are stopped at this location. So no air is forwarded to the exhaust port area. Secondary air is not introduced at the port area. So at what time it may happen? Whenever there is a cold engine condition is there, or whenever temperature of this catcon or this lambda sensor are not reaches up to 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, till that time secondary air induction plays their role. As soon as a temperature here and the lambda sensor are reaches to 200 to 300 degrees Celsius, that time secondary air induction system get switched off, because at that time catalysts are now at their working phase. Okay, and all the COSC get controlled by emission control by this catalyst, and this lambda sensor will not send a false signal to ECU, because the purpose of those lambda sensor, upstream lambda sensor, is to monitor the fuel quantity sent by the injector, or and if I meant to say, it senses the oxygen level present in the exhaust gas. On that basis, monitor whether uh, offered fuel air fill mixture is rich or lean, and whether there is a requirement of rich mixture, and system is sending a lean mixture, then that much correction signal is sending to the ECU, and that way FI will monitor further regulate its respective fuel air fuel quantity. So this is in order to have to or monitor to air fill requirement, and whether it is correctly fulfilling or not, that thing checked by this sensor. Okay, so whenever if we introducing a secondary oxygen over here, so definitely it will send a false signal or it misguide the ECU. So that's why whenever it get warm up sufficiently to work properly, both these two both lambda sensor and the catalytic converter, at that time secondary air induction system get switched off, and this secondary downstream lambda sensor works to check whether catalytic converter are working or not, because oxygen level present at this position before the catalytic converter and the after the catalytic converter definitely different. So when the oxygen level sensed by this sensor and this sensor have some difference, then definitely it come to know this working properly or not. Okay, so downstream is used to check whether this catalyst is working or not. Whenever it sends this catalyst are not working, it sends a respective signal to ECU in order to generate a DTC code, which uh, which um, which make or which create a malfunction light on the dashboard, or which is responsible to glow a malfunction light on the dashboard. So in that way these two lambda sensors are working, and whenever it come into the working phase, this SI system should be switched off. So this is not happen in case of the mechanical type of secondary induction system. So in that way we are not having electronic control. So that's why those mechanical systems are working continuously. So it is called as a secondary induction system, because it fulfilling or air requirement or oxygen requirement by secondary path. The primary path is this one, and it fulfilling the or oxygen, or it supplying oxygen by secondary way in order to have a oxidation of CO and unburned hydrocarbon. So it is as that simple. So that's why it's called as a secondary air induction system or SI induction system. So you can easily notice a mechanical SI system in case of the two-wheelers, and it is very simple to working as compared to our this electronic secondary air induction system, because it is purely work on the basis of pressure difference generated inside the inlet manifold with respect to the suction stroke.